What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Four Square Podcast. As always, it's your boy Jeff.
It's your boy Alex.
Hey, it's Lucas.
Oh shit! Hey guys! Hey guys! Hey guys!
Get into character.
I'm Paul.
Hey! How's it going?
Hey, we out here, man.
It's
out here.
it's summertime for people that are still in school. It's the end of summer for people that are working. There is no summer, but we still living it up, though. You feel me?
We living it up.
still hot.
We out here. Still recording
still
stuff.
hot.
You know, Baby Yoda out here still in the building.
Yes,
you know?
sir.
Shout out to him.
Shalom. He's saying shalom.
Yes, sir.
Give it up.
That boy knows Yiddish.
And,
Anywho, man. Anywho.
How everybody doing though?
well, Gear 5 Luffy came out.
Listen, they said that's the most insane power out of anything. It is.
We are doing well.
That shit is so
We are
beautiful.
having fun.
That anime.
Yes.
One Piece.
One Piece.
Gear 5.
One Piece. The One Piece is real.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
we're having
God.
That's what's
If y'all
up.
haven't started One Piece, start that shit, bro, because it's about to.
It's 100,005 episodes.
It's
fun. It
worth
is 1,071 episodes currently, and it's worth
1,072 because there's another one dropping today.
Yes.
1,072 episodes with fillers.
Don't watch the fillers.
Skip the fillers.
Skip the fillers.
How do you have a show going on for over 1,000?
Listen, that
What
shit
else
is
there to
beautiful.
talk
That
about?
shit is
Look,
beautiful.
no, this thing.
What else is there to talk about?
Look,
I'll tell you what. You talk about?
Uh-oh.
You talk about terrorism,
This ain't an anime.
government corruption.
government corruption, bro. This shit is
Skewing
real
the-
fucking life. Like this shit is what's going on today. In
Anarchy.
today's time,
blurring the lines of good and evil, masking it,
Oh my god!
adventure, friendship,
True freedom.
freedom.
Ain't no friends out here.
So when do you actually get the time to
What are you doing
watch
here?
anime?
Just do.
You make it. You make time. You do your best. Like you
Just do.
watch watch an episode on a lunch break if you're at work. Watch some when you're downtime when you're just relaxing. Like you make the time for it.
So-
Just like everything else in your life, you make
So-
time.
So speaking of work, how is it for you guys as far as working? How is it for you guys getting accustomed to, working in general, really?
I mean, I'm well settled into it now. I mean,
Old.
from graduating college in 2019 to now being in 2023.
Yep.
See, when you make faces like that, you just tell everyone you're old.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, whatever. That's what it is. But honestly, like those first few years, it was rough. It was a rough transition. I mean, no matter how much they'll tell you in college, you still have to go through those growing pains.
Facts.
And a lot of times, like, there's still moments where I still feel like out of place. Like, I still don't feel like I'm old enough to be in this space because I'm the youngest in my office. I was the youngest in my office at my first job. Actually, no, it was me and a few other college students at my first job. But now in this office, I'm the youngest for sure. And so it's
Kind of crazy.
yeah, and it's but it goes to show that like they're bringing young people, but it's still at a slow pace. Because it's still hard to find a job for kids out of college, unless you put yourself in the right positions. But as long as you go through those growing pains and you learn, you'll find your footing. And I've been able to find my footing after the past few years, and I'm doing pretty well now. So,
How long would you say it took for you to actually find your footing?
it took, and that depends on each job because I've worked for two different companies. The first company I worked for, it took maybe a few months to really like get my footing in as far as like being.
This nigga putting on the radio voice.
You really did. He's so soft spoken. You never soft spoken. What's going on here?
I love my wife. Hey, I love you.
He does. It's true. It's true.
Yes, but
Shit.
Yeah, I told you he's old.
No. I said we haven't done an episode since he got engaged.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I did.
He's engaged.
He is.
Yeah.
Big moves. Big money
And
moves.
post plan to say we'll post a picture up or something. Just a little quick little. Yeah, I did. I did something.
Little song.
Little. ask a little
Anyway,
question.
sorry to interrupt.
Yes, I did. Thank you all. Thank you. But yeah, no, for real, like it.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
But no, the first company I worked for, it took some time. Just because I was still in the like, holy shit, I'm in a corporate office. And so, but after a while, I was like, okay, I'm young and dumb. And
This
I'm
some
still
bullshit.
this is- After a while, I was like, this is a lot. I got to do this shit every day, Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day.
They expect you to do that shit
and
for
they
the rest of your
expect
life.
me to do this until I'm like 70 and then I retire.
Yep.
And I'm
then
like,
die.
oh man, like, and the sad part is, and that's the thing that people don't always understand is that like a company will put in effort as much as they want, but the second if you die in a freak accident, they're gonna be like, dang, well, let's post a job posting up.
Exactly.
They will replace
They'll
you.
replace you in a minute, especially if it's a big
within a
company.
month.
They do not care about you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people have to understand. It's like, yeah, a company will care about you up until they have a reason not to.
You know what's funny?
Up until you live up your usefulness.
You know what's funny is like the companies don't care about you. Sometimes, if you're lucky enough, the people that manage you, the people that you work under, they care about you.
Yes.
But a lot of the time, it's not the reality.
But then outside of that circle, like the people that I work with now, the company that I work with now, I love every single one of them. We're all like different personalities, different age brackets, you know, just different situations, but we all mesh together very well and we're a cohesive unit. And so when stuff happens, we'll let each other know and we'll take care of each other. And it's like our manager, he cares about us and we care about him. And like there's a few external people outside of that who care about us really well. But then beyond that, I can't really bank to say that they're going to go hard for us as much as we do for each other.
No. I mean, one of the
Higher ups don't
reality
care
is-
about you.
No, but
They don't even know who you are.
I will say though, like
You make them money. That's it.
as a collective of young people, generations and generations coming up, we are realizing our worth and our value in the eyes of our companies that we're working for, and we're kind of changing the game a lot.
Yeah.
People like the idea of a 2-week notice has kind of been exposed as more of a
shit.
formality, as a formality for their convenience and not for yours. Like a lot of people think it's required.
It's not.
It's to give them time to replace you.
Because if it was required, they would give you a 2-week notice before you were fired.
Yes,
Yep.
but the conditions
When you're
to be-
fired, they expect you to
Be out of there.
But yeah,
Get
mo-
out of
yeah,
there.
Like,
most companies are allowed to fire you pretty much on the spot.
Yep.
With only some restrictions, like you can't.
Well,
fire-
I mean,
you have to have some kind of legitimate reason. You can't fire based on discrimination.
I say some industries they still have like a due process because like even for like people like well my mom gave me certain explanations, but that's based off of like the education industry or like, but it really depends as far as like, you know, what did you do to deserve to be fired? And it's really sometimes a lot of times it's not necessarily a firing, it's more of like a laying off because like a lot of companies still go through a period where an entire department will get cut off.
Yeah.
For just to save up money and to save up like, you know, payroll expense and stuff like that. And unfortunately they can't really give a reason, but they'll give you a check and be like, "Yo, be on your way."
A whole department would get laid off, but they talk about they got record profits.
They're making room. I
Put
mean,
it together. And then the higher ups are getting bonuses and bonuses of bonuses, millions and millions of dollars of bonuses.
I mean, that's the whole issue with the
What y'all
whole
seeing?
with the whole stag protest. Like
Seeing shit.
the highest people of those companies, of those production companies, those are the ones that are still cashing up those big bonuses at the end of the year every day.
Yep.
But then the people who are at the bottom, not even like the senior producer is still getting screwed, all the way down to the PAs.
No commission.
All of them are getting screwed. So I completely get where they're kind of coming from, and I stand with them on their
especially writers,
protests and writers.
people
and
who
stuff.
coming up with the ideas, like they get the worst of it.
Right, but think about us who are still trying to be on the come up about it. Like we know people who are, you know, modeling or trying to find their footing into the entertainment industry, and they're still trying to figure out, and they're getting kicked on the back end because of it. I mean, regardless, if you wanna work in the corporate space like me, or if you wanna work in like the labs and science like Max, or if you wanna work in like construction, like if you wanna do those things, you know, they're all completely different industries, but you still gotta know what the higher ups are thinking. You got to know what their bottom line is.
Yeah.
And as long as you fall within their bottom line, then they'll take care of you. But the second you fall beyond that,
we also have to.
Yeah, I will say when it comes to corporate culture, you have to understand it's in culture as well. And that culture is dictated by the people who run the company. So if you are someone that, let's say, the people that run a certain X company are like preppy, uppity people, you more of a hood dude, you're not you're probably gonna hit a ceiling faster than someone who's a preppy person
You're not
because
gonna
they're gonna
last.
connect with him more. And not that's this discriminatory to you, but they just connect with him more. So
Your personality type is not
it
gonna fit
connects with
well.
them, so they're gonna look out for him versus the typical hood dude basically. So if you don't fit
Yep.
that company's culture, you got to understand your time there is probably limited, and there's only so much you can move up.
It's I don't know. I think that we like younger people are also like this is the constant thing with every passing generation. You have to the older generations pass the torch to their successors and so on and so forth. But in that process, the younger people, we always have to kind of prove ourselves, prove that we are worth the work that we're doing. We contribute, we have value. But I mean, like you guys said, like in the end of the day, it's about profit and it's about how successful they can be in like their bottom line. We're just trying to find our place in it, and a lot of people get stuck in that grind. A lot of people get stuck in the rut, and it's important, especially now, to find your rhythm, find something you want to do, even a little bit, and adapt to it.
They don't even understand how much like that's affecting us. They don't know what we're going through or the toll that it takes on us. We've all had that experience where we're sitting here and we're like, yo, like I don't know how much longer I can keep going.
Well, see, some of them do, because a lot of people you work for, they were in the same position you were, but for one reason or another, they elect to kind of pretend that they didn't. Or even worse, they accept that as like a reality, like, oh, you have to go through this hardship because that's what I had to go through.
Yeah, I don't think they necessarily went through the same thing. I don't think that they had the same liberty to understand the situation because they came from a generation that more than likely. So I work in construction. It's one of the oldest industries in the world. Back then, they really didn't. Your boss didn't really. You didn't hear from your boss until you really did something wrong. So when you're doing something right, they just don't talk to you. So right now, they're kind of having a thing where it's harder for the bosses now that were like young in like the 70s and 80s to kind of show our generation of like, hey, you're doing a good job because their bosses didn't do that for them. It was kind of like, hey, whatever, as long as you don't break anything. If you did, you got reprimanded for it, fired, yelled at, like screaming at the top of their lungs and stuff like that.
You got to break that barrier though.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're trying to, but it's still a pretty big age gap.
Yeah, it's all about making you make little changes with each torch. Each time the torch gets passed, you make a little change. You try to improve the environment. You try to do things the way you want things done.
I feel like the workplace. I feel like there's too much of a rift between the older people and the younger people.
There always
Way
is.
too much.
Always.
Way too much. Because thinking about it, the way that they came up, like you guys said, oftentimes their wages helped them afford a lot of the things that they had. For us, when we're coming out of school, we're fresh out. We plan on getting an apartment or something like that, or we plan on, you have to completely relocate in order to have a job. Apartments are $2,000 for a one-bedroom apartment in certain cities, and we're still sinking with the same job that these people have had for decades. We're sinking to live the life that we're supposed to live.
Like I said, it's why it's important to find like that. Like it may sound cheesy to some people, but like find a job you love. You never work a day in your life. There is some truth to that.
Well, just find a job that you love, but find a job that fucking appreciates you.
Yeah, find
something that will pay for you. Like
find a job that will care for you. Because the thing is, like, no matter how much care you put into something, if you don't get something back naturally, then you burn out.
It's very rare to find a company or a job that truly gives a crap about you in the sense of like, and that's from the manager, that's from the manager above them, and then that's from the coworkers that are surrounding you. Because like there's been so many instances. Like I've had the ability. I'm grateful for it to have the ability of having jobs where a company or a group does not care about you, as opposed to working for a group that does. Like the company that does care about you is concerned about your well-being. Is concerned about your personal life to make sure that because they're showing that your personal life and what you do before affects how you put in your work here, and that affects my productivity. So if I show that I care about you in that instance, I'm expecting you to put in that same energy back into the company so that we can progress and make a profit off of it later.
It's about incentive. Like you have to incentivize your workforce to want to improve, want to succeed, because it's not just about what job you do or where you are. It's about it's about the appreciation, but it's also about how you are rewarded for your good work. It's not just about telling somebody, "Hey, you're doing a good job." Like if you go above and beyond, you should be recognized for going above and beyond. But a lot of people, a lot of companies, especially general labor force, like small like grocery stores or food industry, whatever, like anything that you're just doing labor, you are expected to go above and beyond, but there's no incentive to do so.
So one thing I'll say too, and especially with other generations or older generations, is that they do kind of like to do the whole, work hard, kind of bend your back and kiss ass a little bit, to get the bosses to see what you're doing. But they were really hell bent on loyalty as far as staying at a certain place for a stable paycheck, whether you get appreciated or not. And that's one thing that I'll say our generation is doing well at, is when we see that we're not appreciated, we're not gonna stay. We're gonna go and leverage that.
You remember how the old generations used to criticize young people for that? Like, oh, you guys have no job loyalty. It's like, yeah,
Job hop all
give
the
me
time.
a reason to be loyal.
Exactly. Fuck you.
The thing is like once you have that reason to be loyal, then you'll stay.
Yeah.
Then you'll have your reasons to stay.
I hope our generation in particular does many things differently, but one thing in particular is I hope that we always remember where we came from and always remember what we were struggling to fight against, so that when it comes time for us to pass the torch, we help grow and nurture our workforces instead of just expecting them to figure it out.
See, I think with that, it's almost like, because I had this conversation when I was in college, because of course, I went to concrete industry management at MTSU. They're really pushing the concrete program. Work for a big company, get a nice steady paycheck, because that's all they know. Go to school, get that degree, get a nice paycheck with 401k, retire, die. That's it. So with that, when I talked about having
Perish.
and speaking on that, because I talked to one of my teachers and I was like, hey man, like, because he said, when you get it with a big company, I was like, but when you get it with a big company, you're pretty much just a number. So it's almost like it's inevitable for the goal of a company to just get bigger to the point that you will be just a number. And he admitted to me that's kind of inevitable for you to join a company to get it so big that you are going to be just a number. So you might as well get in first so you can be in like the little, upper management senior level group, so you have some type of leverage at that point. So going to Lucas's point on, we hope that our generation does better. I think we will do better, because I think we're not going to be focused on having big corporations run all these things, but have a niche small shop and then have all these other people doing their small little niche shops. So one, you can treat your employees better, and two, it's a better connectivity. You're not trying to have a monopoly over anything.
Thank you.
If anything, you just want to have, like, instead of having Walmart, have everything, have a butcher shop here, have a produce shop here. Now you can collaborate with each other.
You can use the space that Walmart has and have that all right next to each other. But
Or have
instead of-
vendors in there, have their own shops.
Yeah, like you mean like a mall?
Yes.
Oh, what?
Yes.
But who owns the malls?
Well, the thing is, malls are outdated now. Everybody wants to. At best, you'll shop occasionally like a Target or something because it's convenient. But otherwise, you do most of your shopping and searching and browsing online, because that idea of like going to a massive shopping center and looking around for what's there is, for whatever, like for one reason or another, it's dying. It sucks, but it's dying.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, there
Malls are dying.
There are so many malls that have just
100%.
gone out of business. I think that they should convert the mall spaces to something productive instead of just Amazon warehouses. But
Have you seen like Town Center?
Yeah.
it's dead. Honestly, last time I went there,
Town Center used to be thriving when we were.
Cumberland is decent. still.
Cumberland is okay. Last
That
time
was perimeter.
Cumberland, like I went to Cumberland twice over like last December, And I remember one time I went at, like in later in like the evening, and it was like regular bustling traffic. And then I went another time early afternoon, just during a holiday, just nobody. It was very dead. Like most people were kind of centered in the food
Doors
court.
closed.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, like the having shops is important. Changing the dynamic of how we think about small shops and big corporations is also going to help.
Yeah.
We do still like having the corporations improve and change is still important though, because what about our entertainment? What about our our video games, our movies? Like it's not that we want those things to go away. I want I want Disney because of Marvel and Star Wars, for example. I want those franchises to survive. I want those corporations to survive. I just want them to do better. I just want them to, keep. Remember that they're doing this for people. They're not doing this for their money. They're doing this for
No,
people.
when it comes to corporations, they do it for the money.
But when it comes
we
to
should
us, though,
change
when it
that.
comes to our generation, we need to think about it from our perspective. What are stuff that we do that corporations can adjust to, since we're the future of like the money that they're going to be receiving from? What can businesses do to cater to what the upcoming Gen Zers are doing?
It's not even that. It's as Gen Zers, since money runs everything, you actually have the power because you put your money into it. So if you don't like something,
Stop putting your money into it.
exactly. So they have to cater to you because
What is this?
they're giving you the product.
And what's that called, guys? A strike.
I mean, boycotts, strikes, you name it. They seem insignificant at first, but I mean, now with like the actors and writers strikes, like
Power is within the people.
I mean, because the thing is, like, look at a lot of these.
Do I sound like a communist, guys?
No,
It's not.
you're speaking facts.
A lot of people criticize because they think, oh, it's going to happen overnight. But the truth is, change within I'll talk about like movie corporations because it's on my mind.
Yeah.
This change happens over time. I mean, think about one example. I was talking about this other day. Y'all remember like the early 2000s, how like superhero movies, like except for Spider-Man, a lot of the comic books, like the suits, like the costumes were very streamlined, very kind of basic, because they admitted they were trying to do like this modernized, low effort, kind of like simplistic,
Low budget costumes.
not even low budget, just like very simplistic. Because the idea, like they didn't think they wanted actors running around in skin tight costumes, which is not wrong. But then people kind of were like, why are the X-Men all dressed in black leather? Like, where are their like colorful, like unique costumes? What separates them?
Yeah.
People wanted individuality. Years later, Marvel kind of comes back. They make Iron Man. They make Captain America. Modern suits with comic book inspiration. People realize, because over that time, over 10 years, they're like, people aren't liking these movies as much for these reasons. Maybe we should make some changes to see what happens. They make some changes, boom, you see more success.
But you also see some of their old. They try to put in their old comic book
Yep.
uniforms and shit in there, and it's hilarious.
That's
You're
what
just like, whoa, this looks horrible.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like people, like change happens over time. You just have to. We as people as consumers have to just keep doing what we're doing. Criticize, hold accountable, and talk about what the things that we like and don't like. And some of them will listen, some of them won't, and eventually things kind of come into play. That's what we're doing now, and that's what we can continue to encourage when we get to that position of power.
Yeah, I think ultimately, what for me, all I want is to be done right by. You know what I'm saying?
Inspirational.
I just like
Wow.
while working, while being a consumer, I just want to be. I want things to be done correctly, and I want like the proper things to be done for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's
At the end of the day,
it's interesting because you'll have the older generations come in, and they hate when people complain about the 5-day 8-hour work week, saying it's so much worse and yada yada. And it's like, if it's worked for this long, how can we revise it to make it better? Because if you go to any corporation, regardless if it's finance, construction, especially when it comes to day-to-day tasks, you don't really need the whole 8 hours to do what you got to do. You can really finish that 3-4 hours.
and you're done.
Like, Alex, would you agree that sometimes the work that you have, does it really take the whole 8-hour day to get it all done?
It doesn't.
Rest of the time, if you working from home, most of the time, default really they do they work for 3-4 hours. Half the time they taking naps,
On
eating
their
food on their
Meal
phone,
prep.
Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, going to the
mean-
store, running errands and shit.
A part of like
The work's getting done.
yeah, the work's getting done, but a part of like the 8-hour workday is still like the collaboration piece, and I think that's also a factor. As far as like if you're doing like actual hard grinding work, will probably consist of like maybe 4 to 6 hours, and then the other 2 hours are consistent of organizing, collaborating, having meetings, setting up with like your team members, your managers, whatever, trying to get stuff done. Like the 8 hours is a productive day as long as you make it productive. Now, on the days where it's like if you don't have any projects to do, you have nothing to do, you have no meetings or have anything like that, those days I get it of like, well, what am I supposed to do for the next 8 hours? I get those.
You sound like you're a working advocate.
I am.
And so what if he is?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not against.
Well, you better be getting paid more than what you are.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not against the idea of working, but I mean, I've heard people talk about ideas on how to like improve the workforce conditions because one problem is the fact that productivity is going down a lot because people are being overworked.
Yes.
Because companies are putting
I can speak on that.
companies, small or large, are putting incredibly ridiculous expectations on like their schedules, their timetables, and they're not giving enough rest. They're not giving enough people. They're not giving enough resources to do the work properly. And as consumers, like the workers are paying for it, and the consumers that purchase this product, like whatever the product is, they're suffering for it as well. I mean, food industry, entertainment, you name it. Like I see that issue constantly. They're understaffed. They have to constantly change their hours, which overall affects the business because if you constantly change your hours, people are going to stop coming because they don't know when to show up. If there's no consistency whatsoever, then you lose a critical aspect of your work in a lot of industries. Like there's this one place I started going to. It's a little bit out of my way. Besties. It is a small little shop. It's got empanadas and Belgian waffles. It's run. It's run. Well, it's run by a couple. By an Argentinian, a Belgian man and an Argentinian woman. They're a married couple, and they started this little shop, and they make specialty empanadas. They are delicious, by the way. They are so good. I haven't had the waffles yet, but like they have dessert empanadas, they have cakes, desserts. They sell like little like trinkets, also like jewelry and handmade hats. It's a very interesting shop, but for a little while,
You should do a local munchies for it.
it's like in Atlanta though. It's like an hour and a half away.
Oh, if it's in Atlanta,
No
then we should
fucking
do it.
way. Hour and a half.
Actually, no,
in
from
Atlanta. Hour and a half.
Hour and a half from
Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's an hour from where I live, so I don't know where it is here. But anyway, but what I'm saying is like
20 minutes. 30.
I tried to go there. I've gone there 3 different times, and the third time was a charm. But the 2 times I went there, they're like, oh, they're closed on this day. Okay, let's go on this day. We went on a different day. They were closed on that day. They kept changing the hours because they were understaffed. They didn't have the people to work the hours they needed to, so they had to constantly adjust their schedules for those that could.
Well, okay. Well, let's just bring up the concept. Let's just bring out the one concept that we do as Foursquare of the reason why we do local munchies. It's literally
To eat,
yes, we like to eat. Yes,
Yeah.
but
consume.
local munchies is specifically to highlight the local small-owned businesses that are in our surrounding areas. And so we're making the effort to highlight those small businesses because those are the ones that are going to continue to thrive. We're going to put our money into these businesses that we continue to go to. We still talk about Birria El Gordo to this day. Like there's
had
certain
that shit the last
spots
time before I came here.
I was thinking about that just this today.
but those small businesses are what makes it. So that's that make us. I mean, and the food is good. It's good quality. Yeah. When you meet the people, like a lot of times, like when we do local munchies, and we went to the barbecue spot, and we were talking to the people who work there. Like when you could tell like you're working for like a family. It's completely different than where it's just like where you don't know who the owner is.
Where it's like a chain or something
yeah,
like that.
where it's like a chain, and that's why it's like we're not, and it's not like we're like against chain spots, but it's just that the local spots are the things that are gonna make life cool. Like it makes life worth living.
And you know the chain spots
you
already.
know where the chain spots are. Like
don't know the
everybody
local
knows wherever you live, you know where the local spots are.
A big difference between, for example, like Papa John's or Domino's and like this local Brazilian pizza shop that's right near Bestie's. I have to remember the name of it. Give me a minute. It's that the chains, they know you're going to come back because they expect that, and because of that, a lot of them get kind of complacent with how they do things. They're like, "Oh, you're coming. Like we know you want this pizza. It doesn't matter how it's going to come out. You're gonna eat it because you know this."
Yeah, you're coming for the name, not the food.
They know you're going to come. Versus the mom and pop shops, they want you to come back.
Right.
But they'll
Want
also take
you
the
to
constructive
come.
criticism and they'll make adjustments.
Right.
Because a lot of the stuff is done by hand and is done fresh. So if there's something off and somebody mentions it to them, they'll take those comments to heart.
But see, the thing is also like you can expect better quality from the get go because they can't afford negative criticism as much as Papa John's.
Yeah.
Papa John's gets like thousands of thousands of negative Yelp reviews, and they're doing fine. But like a mom and pop shop, they get like 5 bad Yelp reviews, and they're tainted,
Right.
Because their reputation is built on how many people talk about them, and if fewer people talk about them, or even worse, people talk negatively about them,
It's a wrap for
they're
them.
going under.
Yeah. So nah.
So they have a lot more to lose, and that's why we advocate so much to support them. But that's also why I always know I'm gonna get taken care of more often. Than
Yeah, you
not.
definitely
Even
definitely
for like
are.
Yeah, but that's how it is as far as just like the business, like the global scale of businesses. I mean, yeah, like and that could be applied to anything, any major corporate business.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was a personal mom and pop like auto shop, I would go to them instead of
Exactly.
going to Pet Boys or Home Depot or Lowe's or like the big brand name companies. But if there was a local shop, that I'm considered going to them because I feel like they would take care of me more.
Actually, I think that is dependent on like if the service is good. Like if you require like a higher level of expertise for a service, that's when you kind of have to.
Oh yeah, of course you'll branch out for the resource that you need. So if I have to go to the bigger brand names because they just have the resources, then sure, then I'll get that.
Wait,
But I'm
do
just
you
saying-
mean like for mechanics?
yeah, like for mechanics or like to like buy a wrench or something like that, like just to
right.
get
Well,
tools.
Well, I would say,
Yeah.
I mean, when I had my BMW, the mechanic I went to was a local guy in Austell. And everyone knew him, but he specifically worked on Mercedes and BMWs only. So
Yeah,
yeah, so when when
to
it comes to
specialize.
mom and pop shops, like it's okay when it comes to like mechanic shops, especially if they have a specific model they work on, because that means they worked on it so much they know that this year model has recalls because of this transmission issue or something like that. Rest in peace to him because he died last year. But
Oh well, rest in peace to him. Shout
Glad
out
he
to
did good.
him and his
I'm glad he did good by you.
Yeah. But then but even with like certain but even with other services that we know like it's better to be local. Like even with barbershops. Like a lot of barbers, especially in our community, we are loyal to our barber. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna take the risk of going to like a
You're not going to no goddamn sports clips.
right, sports clips or
Great
super
clips, no.
cups or any of those local chain barbershops where you get the same generic pick 1 through 12. Which one do you want?
They have a
Like,
number system, man.
Yeah,
Like what number do you want your fade at?
right.
I don't fucking know. What?
But then the person who's been cutting your hair for years, they know your head, they know exactly how you like being cut, and know exactly what looks good on you. They're gonna take care of you. But that could be for anything. That could be for any service that's provided. And so shout out to all local businesses. We appreciate you.
Our
See,
communities are built.
we love
you.
you.
literally,
And it is something that America wouldn't be shit without those local businesses.
How does this have to do anything to do with Gen Z in the workplace?
I will tell you, it is our responsibility as younger generations to continue to do what we do, to appreciate, support, and endorse local businesses. Because if we essentially allow the bigger chains, the bigger corporations to push out the local shops, they will control everything, and then the quality is going to be reduced.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's going to be reduced because now you don't have any real sense of accountability. That's why monopolies are dangerous. If everything comes from one source, it doesn't matter. They don't care.
they can
how
charge you
quality-
whatever.
They can do whatever they want. They can give whatever quality because there's nothing to stop them.
And Gen Zers do a great job of communicating what's hot and what's not.
And local businesses also, they inspire community gathering. They inspire people to connect with each other.
Right.
It's still the workplace. It's still a local business. It's still
Right.
a workplace.
Ooh, don't they?
Yeah.
But then, like, so
because these old mom and pop shops, they have to pass the torch, like I
Exactly.
said, to the younger people. Who's going to take over?
It's up to us to make those. And then, like I said, we do a great job of communicating, via all these platforms that we have now to be able to extend out to all different parts of the world about like the things that are trending, the things that are up, the things that are down, the things that are being we do such a great job of calling shit out. Like we always are fact checking people and being like, actually, no, and it doesn't matter how how it comes, but we do such a great job of I guess exposing.
Sometimes motherfucking facts be wrong though.
That is not facts.
Well, if it's not facts, then
Alright.
no. But then
Misinformation.
Yes, misinformation. Now, yes,
Opinion.
Unfortunately, the one caveat of that is that when you do a lot of these opinions and they're doing more opinion based, and it's like no, don't do opinion based. Look up the facts, and then you'll sprinkle in opinion with the facts, but you make sure that the facts are the focal point of your argument. So that is one thing that we may fall short sometimes. But as far as just the numbers of how many times we speak out, we are very outspoken as a generation as well. And so, like,
We have the tools.
Yeah, it's also because we're just not afraid to speak our mind when things are wrong. You know,
Well, I thought you were about to say not afraid to take a stand.
well, that too. Yeah, we're not afraid to take a stand when
Not
something
afraid
oh my god,
to take a stand.
See, everybody. We're not afraid, but we also have the platforms to do so. Like if you gave like social media platforms and the voice, well, the way to project your voice to older generations, you would have had more people speaking out by then too, or you would have seen more people speak out.
We've seen people speak out back then.
No,
Civil
I know.
rights and shit.
I'm just saying, like we saw people speak out, so that's never changed. It's just that the volume that we see today isn't because like the generation has changed so much as I think the ability to do so.
I feel like
On such a wide scale.
I feel like it's people speak out, but they don't actually have any action behind it.
It's because people will speak out until it starts to benefit them. Once it benefits them, then that's when they want you to shut up.
Well, also people want other people to do stuff. It takes a lot for someone to actually stand up and start a movement, but the bystander effect is rampant. Like you got like millions of people just calling for action, but everyone's too scared. Everyone's waiting for someone to make a stand. And it is hard. I admit it's hard to do something different and take charge, especially when you have no guarantee that other people are going to back you.
Well, also, you got to be kind of smart with it. Like, you need to have your leverage if you're going to make that stand. Don't just, it's like when people just abruptly quit the job, but you have no other source of income or savings to live off of before you find the next one. Like, be smart and strategic if you're going to make that stand, too.
Set it up. I remember when I was working, we had a problem where we were constantly our productivity went down because of the vision that that our store had of what they were trying to hire. Mm-hmm. So I was actually learning about this regarding like business law. Like there are laws that prevent you from not hiring somebody based on disabilities or backgrounds or anything of that nature as long as they're qualified. But some people kind of confuse the hiring purpose with you can't discriminate me to hire me, you have to hire me. But if you don't meet the requirements, like especially physical requirements, that it causes a lot of problems, which is a problem we had. We were hiring a lot of personnel. We had a lot of personality hires that were faces that people could talk to and do stuff. But when it came to the actual grunt work, there was 3 of us on a good day. 3 because people were too. I remember there was one thing in our guidelines, you have to be able to at least lift 50 pounds comfortably throughout the day, kind of thing. And I'm like, can y'all even lift 50 pounds once?
do you even lift, bro?
I actually asked one of the managers. I was like, hey, any chance y'all can get one of those curling bars, 50-pound curling bar, just kind of have it there. Hey, can you lift that for me real quick while you conduct your interview, just real quick? Because it's they were like, oh yeah, we have this vision for what we want to do. And we had to constantly keep training new people all the time, so our work just wasn't getting done. And we're the ones paying for that. I know it's kind of a tangent that I went off on, but it was just kind of to say that.
No, it's still kind of nice to do the topic.
When the specific managers or whatever make a decision, it is us. We have to kind of pick it up. We have to do what, if we're not incentivized to do it, then you're just kind of going in a very vicious cycle.
But that's why I think the small shops are going to make a revival, because these big corporations are centered and powered by loyalty of their employees. So if you have your employees consistently cycling out, you won't have the ability to have that longevity, because you have to keep retraining people and stuff like that. And there's problems, right now too, in the sense that there's not, depending on the industry, it may not be the best training either. They just kind of throw you out there, because remember, it's about making money. So some people lie in their resume and say they can do stuff they don't do just to get the job, and that's one thing.
They do that a lot in computer science.
But there's also, them basically throwing you to the wolves and say, "Hey, do it." And when you fail, it's like, "Well, what's going on here?" So training is not the best when it comes to this, and they're trying to focus on growth so much sometimes that it's like you're growing too fast for your own good. And then it's things falling apart, quality issues, people, getting overlooked and people quitting and stuff like that. So it's almost like, these corporations trying to focus on efficiency and growth, that they're not looking at their fellow people to move up, but trying to find outward people that they think will do a better job of doing that.
Mm-hmm. I've said this before, that specifically in this country, like you got to play the game. Like you have no real choice in the matter. You have to play the game well enough or better than the system in front of you to succeed. Like a lot of people think they can get around it. A lot of people, they think that they can just not participate, but there's no option for that. Like you have to, in some capacity, you have to play the game, because that's how this country works. That's how the world works. Unfortunately, you have to make some sacrifices. You have to kind of grit your teeth sometimes to get to a position where you have more flexibility, where you have more leverage, as you were saying, to succeed. Like for me, for instance, like I don't want to be working like the big corporate job my whole life. I don't.
Yeah.
But what I want is I want to get to a position where I can get to a high position in the workplace. I can make bank, and I can use those resources that I've made to go through my dream. I want to open up martial arts schools for impoverished communities so that kids can be saved. I want that. I want kids to have that opportunity that they can't have because they can't afford a $150 monthly fee plus their gear. I want to do something different. I realize, though, that I have two choices in that matter. One, I can devote my life to training martial arts so that I can be the instructor. Or B, I can make so much money that I can hire the people that I need to, that I trust, and I can run the business I can make it self-sufficient.
You just do 1B. Nothing.
Will I do both?
No, you just said 1B.
Oh, instead of 1, 2.
Sorry.
Oh, I did? I always do that. I don't know. I guess I like B. I like the letter. 1.
It's a great
B.
letter. It's a great letter.
Number B.
Sorry.
Nah, it's okay. Thanks.
Nah, you've been real quiet, Max. What you gotta say?
I think he's just like getting like flashbacks of all his work experience.
But he's also reflecting. I feel like you've reflected, because like for you, being a Gen Zer in your industry, you've already had a lot of tough experiences in your field already.
Yeah.
So expand, brother Max.
I am having like Vietnam flashbacks right now. That's why I'm so adamant about work strikes and shit like that. Okay, I guess we should get into it. All right. That's how I feel about a lot of this stuff, and how what step of the process I'm in right now. So I'm in graduate school. I worked in the industry for about a year, and I work in the lab. Right, the industry. If you're a low-level employee, like I was in manufacturing for pharmaceuticals, so a lot of that was really just mind-numbing work. So if you don't have a high upper-level degree, you're not really going to go very far very quickly unless you know people and have connections and shit. And that's in every other industry. So I decided to go to grad school. I'm in grad school now. But as a graduate, as a graduate student, you see even worse things, right? So as a graduate student, you see I looked this shit up. right? So president of the school makes around 900K a year. And as a graduate student, that they apparently we only work 20 hours a week, which is absolute bullshit. As first year graduate student, I was a TA, also a research assistant, so I was doing research while taking classes and teaching classes. So add that up, it's around, you know, add studying to it's around 80 hours a week. Well, that's a little overestimation. Try 70. I'll say 70 hours a week, including weekends. And for all of that, I would only see $2,000 a month. About 1,000 of that goes to rent. And then of course you have other expenses like you have, let's see, food,
Yeah.
gas because you got to drive. You know, you pretty much end up with nothing by the end of. Oh, don't forget water and light bills. So you pretty much end up with nothing. And of course, oh yeah, this is what you have to go through, and this is what you have to do to get to. This is just an investment for yourself. Okay, pay me for the work that I'm actually doing. All right, because I shouldn't be getting paid for 20 hours a fucking week. That's a part-time worker. Those that don't know, I'm a part-time worker getting paid 3% of what the president gets paid. He doesn't do shit. I'm sorry. He doesn't do a goddamn thing. He walks around, gives bullshit speeches, and thinks he's
I wonder where all the money's going.
To his fancy cars.
Fancy broads.
And I look around across the country and I see a lot of other graduate students. They get paid decent. Like, I know one of my friends, he goes to another school, gets paid about 20K more for the same program, essentially. And that's just, it's like really upsetting to me. And nobody's really, we have a grad student association that I guess is a advocate for us. I guess we all don't go.
Are they really an advocate though?
How much do they actually advocate for you?
And I've been thinking about unionizing and trying to get things done right for us because I know I'm not the only one that suffers through a lot of the stressors that graduate students go through. I know I have friends that had the same mentality and had to kind of end their programs earlier because of the overall stress. And I know even myself, like I've literally crashed multiple times horribly to where I couldn't even work anymore.
Overwork.
I'm literally overworked constantly because that's just the environment that I'm in. And it's really irritating to hear people like, it's cool to have a nice, like, I love the people I work with and I love what I do, but sometimes it's just way too fucking much.
Yeah. A small add-on to what you're saying. I don't want to get you off your track, but it made me think about it. Like earlier, I said, find a job you love, work a day in your life. But if your job constantly, if you're doing what you love, but the job environment you're in constantly brings you down, how long are you gonna keep that love? How are you gonna keep that love alive?
I feel like that's what's worse is when you
really
like the industry, but that
fall out of love
company
with it.
is making you not like the work.
I love my industry.
Yeah.
I love science. I love chemistry. It's literally, I got to a point where I dreaded going into work every day. Yeah. I struggled academically. I even had really rough thoughts, just going through it, bro. And so I'm at this point now where I'm just kind of reevaluating what I really want to do. So just
appreciate you sharing that, man.
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's just
we're here for you.
Gotta figure this shit out, bro. Figure this shit out one day at a time. This workspace, I want to do something that I love, and I want to be able to help people, and I want to, do all that shit.
Yeah, but see that's another problem there you touched on, is related to the idea of incentive too. people aren't being rewarded as much for going above and beyond for the work they're put in. But the unfortunate reality is the people who do the bare minimum, they are given the bare minimum. But the people who want to they'll go above and beyond, instead of being recognized for it and being rewarded, they just get more work.
Above and beyond in our program is the bare minimum.
You got to be careful with above and beyond because you may or may not get that recognition, and then you're basically doing the amount of work that your supervisor's doing, but still getting paid when you're getting paid and not getting paid in that next position. Going off of, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this is why a lot of videos that I've been seeing lately on social media are people that are they're basically they're fighting back in the sense of like when people are being asked to do more. Or people are being asked to like stay late, or people being asked to do XYZ, and then the immediate response is, "I hope I'm getting compensated for this." And then they'll be like, "Well, no, like we want you to show that you're dedicated to the company." And I'm like, "Fuck the company! I want my money."
I'm dedicated to the company for showing up every fucking day. That's my dedication to the goddamn.
That is some bullshit though. Why do I have to constantly prove myself to you?
I show up. If I'm on time, I'm.
You paid me 8 hours.
We're way past. We're like at that point. We're way past the point of proving yourself. Like we've gone through that ground.
Yeah.
Why do I have to sit here and show you a day in day out that I am committed to doing the work?
Yeah.
Like it's one thing if you're lazy and you do the bare minimum on a good day, yeah, you have to you have something to prove. But the people who are doing either like just regular work or more than the regular work, it's like why do I of all people have to constantly show you that I'm ready to do more? I'm ready for this. Like
it's almost like the generation before us saw all of this. And instead of trying to fix it, they were like, nah, I'm going to just kind of milk this for myself. Because one thing I will say, even though I really like construction, because I view construction as almost like literal manifestation. You are taking an idea of a building. All of this that you see around the table, the condo that we're in right now, was all an idea drawn up, and then people got together to physically build it. I think that is absolutely dope. And to have it, like sometimes business just perverts things in just kind of a way that's like, come on, like the way they sometimes, depending on how they compensate their employees out in the field, sometimes they exploit labor from people from different countries and stuff like that. And then when it comes to, and they'll have them out, doing night pours and staying all day in the hot sun and stuff like that. And when it comes to this, sometimes like a bonus, you'll come up to the superintendent or the crew leader. Here's this bonus structure we got. This is how much you'll get paid extra if you finish the job in so many hours or whatever. And then the time comes to where they possibly did that, but then they don't see that bonus check because his boss got it driving around in his glove box for like months. And it's like, what's going on?
It's crazy to me because a lot of companies, like on the small level and the big level, they spend so much time and effort finding ways around compensation and reward that it's much easier and much more feasible to simply give reward and benefit for people who do good work and incentivize, but rather they find workarounds of paying people extra. They find ways to like justify how little they're paying people. Like I had like a really, really good thought and
And it just died.
And the train of my thought did a kickflip and I lost it. It like kickflipped off to another like rat trail and it just. My point is that like
slid off the board.
It's like that people will go. I remember like when I was working, in my interview I asked about overtime because I was like, look, I was part of it was like I was trying to get them to know that I'm dedicated to doing work, and I'm like, I'm not just in for the money. I'm dedicated to do work as needed. And I asked about overtime, and they gave me like this weird look. They were like, "We don't really do that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Well, they basically they structure everything to be with like you do everything possible to stay within that 8-hour zone." Like, because the closing shift we get out at like 10, and it was like that's like an hour to get things done after the store closes. After a while we did like 11 o'clock, so that's like an hour, 2 hours to get things done and like get ready for the opening shift the next day. But it was like there was always a rush to get things done if there was like a delay or something because they were avoiding overtime. Like it was like
They
nothing.
didn't want to pay people
No,
that extra.
they had like rules and like and setups to like in place to basically make it almost impossible to get overtime. Like,
Because
there
they
was no
legally
overtime.
can't give it to you,
Yeah.
so they're gonna make it hard for you.
Yeah, and like and the times that we did have to stay like after our shift, like they would ask us to do so, and they would give us something, but it was never like in the form of overtime.
Yeah.
It was always something else. It was never time and a half. So I was like, why do y'all spend so much effort avoiding compensation when you could just do it? Like the rush,
yeah.
the
There's gonna
overwork.
be eventually, and some companies may do it depending on like if companies are doing hybrid work or doing regardless of however the work schedule looks like. But I do foresee maybe like a mass exodus of jobs of
Yep.
people are going to quit. I mean, a lot of people quit their jobs during COVID, and then even post COVID, like people are
Realizing people aren't being appreciated. People realized they weren't being appreciated.
right.
Yeah.
Because they were being put in dangerous situations too.
Right.
They were
I wouldn't.
And they were really
yeah.
taking the time to really like assess. Like COVID gave a lot of people the time to really think about life in
Yeah.
the sense of like,
What
this
is
is where I am right now. This is what life is right now. Like, nah, I don't want to do this no more.
Yep.
And so a lot of people are like now like taking that stand and I'm
Started
like,
on
yo,
businesses and stuff.
companies are going to have to catch wind fast, or they're going to walk into the office one day and see nobody there.
I will add this and why I think that the generation before us definitely used this system to their advantage and they didn't really do anything to change anything. So, in one of the companies I used to work for, there was a younger guy, kind of around my age, that purposefully took a pay cut to be a lower level than what he wanted to be so he could prove himself to the company. Because, again, like I said, construction is one of those oldest fields. You kind of have to prove yourself. And because they try to say that, oh, there wasn't enough room for the position that he wanted. That's why he took the pay cut. Within a month, they hired someone else with no experience in that level of construction that we were doing at the time did. But so they technically lied to that kid saying, oh, we don't have any more room for you in that role and hired someone else because he knew someone that worked there.
I mean,
They're literally just hiring their friends, bro.
This
I mean,
is how
that's also kind of how like the network and that's one of the things that they sell when I went to school, and
It's
they're
who
like,
you know, not what
it's
you
who
know.
you know, not what you know. But it's also like, especially if you're in like Greek life, like if you're in a frat, you automatically have entry into these like a lot of places because the minute like you find out, oh, like the guy who like this guy who like runs this company, yeah, he's a brother. So like you just tell him that, and like you're in like no matter qualifications. So like you.
But that shows the lack of quality, though, because it's one thing to just be like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But it's like, hey, at least I know what this person's worth is, and I know what this person is capable is. Have a good, valid reason outside of just, oh, he's my frat brother. Like for the good of the frat, I'm gonna hire him. Like,
Oh no,
that's horseshit.
no.
Well, who do they have to justify it to?
Because
Nobody
no,
checking them.
I'm gonna check that. So whenever I give recommendations or somebody is, recommending me for something, especially out of my fraternity, they always say, "I know you're getting recommended, but bring your A game," because that's how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to recommend you for this, but you better bring your shit. Like, I'm not gonna mess around with you in the interview or anything. Like that's not what this is about. Like I'm not finna just hand you a job. Like this is real still. So, but oftentimes, it's not the case.
No.
Yeah,
It's not the case.
that's how it should be.
That's how I about to say but that's good practice of like I'm gonna recommend you, but like don't fuck me on this, like because like if you got recommended and you perform terribly, not only are you getting screwed, but that person may also get screwed on the back end
Because you're a
that's
reflection
now-
of me.
Exactly. So now you're messing up my integrity and my character because my recommendation.
Yeah. My brother got me my first job, bro, at the little factory. But at the end of the day, like, okay, of course, I went through the interview process and did all this stuff, and we ended up working on separate, like, complete opposite shifts. so I never saw him. But I ended up like outperforming him and a lot of the people on my shift and a lot of people on in general. And before I left, I was actually getting close to a promotion. So it was actually like
Congrats.
thanks, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but still, don't not fuck the company, but it's just you can tell it was kind of I was leaving. But yeah,
We've been talking a lot about like Gen Z in the workplace, and I think one thing, a big impact that we have been doing, not even just our generation, but the generation that came before the millennials, is we are changing the image of a working class. We're changing the image of professionalism, and I think that's a huge thing. Like a lot of companies that are run by like older generations, older people, old school jobs, they have this idea where like professional is like clean shaven, no tattoos, hair cut and short kind of thing, like almost kind of military like. But nowadays we're actively trying to change that image. We got to the point where now like a beard is not a sign of being unkempt and unprofessional, as long as you keep it maintained. Like
we all have facial hair now.
Yeah, like it's
all in our industries.
a lot of people are becoming more open with that. Tattoos. Tattoos are one of the things where it's like still going to cover it because some people have tattoos that don't line up with like a company image type thing, which is like that's fine, that's you. But some companies are a little more liberal. The idea of body art, expression, it's changing. It's changing it's adapting to how the work environment is also changing.
Yeah.
So I think we're making an impact on that. That comes with like office work. That comes with working from home, different different fields.
Yeah.
Just there's no longer one professional image.
I grew my beard out of stress. I just kept it.
The idea, I think that like if you could summarize professionalism today in one word, it would just be groomed, hygienic, like that. That's my take on it.
But one thing also that Gen Zers that we're doing is we are a huge advocate of the ability of work-life balance, and I think that is something that the generations before did not understand that concept of, like, because they're like our grandparents and great grandparents, like they're on the idea of like just work until you die.
Yeah,
like
they live to work.
You live and you work for a company for 40 years and then you get your pension and you're done.
Man, fuck that.
I'm like,
I want my kids to love me.
right.
I want my kids to know me.
I want my kids to know who I am.
Yeah.
I don't want my kids to be like, sorry, son, my project is worth more than going to your baseball game.
I put food on the table. It's like, but what do you look like,
Someday
bro?
you'll understand when you grow up. Like,
I kept the lights on. What do you look like, bro?
I don't know who you are. Mom's bringing in Mom's bringing in Mr. Jeffrey every other weekend, and I say, hey Jeff, what you doing, dog?
I'm getting them fruit snacks.
But yeah, no, but I mean, this is something that I guess we can all probe on before we close. It's like, how do we all contribute to work-life balance? We all have something. I mean, I know, Max, like you say, you were struggling with that, but what are some efforts that we're doing to make the work-life balance, plausible in our lives?
Well, Jeff, you said it well. Why don't you say it again?
Oh yeah, I was saying,
Getting fruit snacks from somebody's mom?
That too. But yeah, definitely get a hot. Well, honestly,
I like some fruit snacks.
it kind of goes back to what we talked about previously too with college, and it's like get your daily routine set up, right? Pick a time in the morning, because a lot of people, you wake up right before you really need to get ready to go to work. Get up a little bit early, whether it's going to the gym, stretch, drink some tea, read a book or something like that. Give yourself some me time in the morning. And then you get back home, go to the gym or maybe watch your favorite show or something like that. And do it to where, let's say, you really hate Mondays. So make Monday the day when you go home, you watch your favorite show or you watch your favorite movie.
Garfield.
Something like that. Or you choose that day to go out with your
Eat
friends.
some lasagna.
Call your friends up, say, hey, Monday, since we hate Mondays, let's go to the bar and get some food or something like that.
Find hobbies And personally, I've said this before in a previous episode, not just an active hobby. Going to the gym is good. Me personally, I struggle to motivate myself to go to the gym because I don't like working out. I love training. I love martial arts. So as long as I'm in a martial arts like academy, any like martial art, then I have the motivation to work out because to me, the working out is a means to an end. So I joined martial arts, and the martial arts always has like a schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 o'clock, Tuesday, Thursday, like 6:30. So I know to plan my day around that. But also like find some creative hobbies, find something you can do in quiet time, paint, photography, just do anything.
Podcast.
Find something that you can do because
Content creation.
those elements of your life and your daily routine will clear your mind and help you do the other things that aren't hobbies but that you enjoy. It'll help you make time for your favorite anime so you can watch One Piece, Goat Piece, as I like to call it.
Goat piece.
Goat Piece by Ichiro Goda himself.
Yes.
But you can find
With
time
his
to watch
new
your favorite
eyes.
shows. You can find time to, read the book you've been wanting to read, go to the movie, hang out with your friend, have a date night with your partner. Do something.
Please.
But
Take yourself out. Go on a me date.
But you have to understand, like, there's an order to it. Like, you can't have. Sometimes you need a catalyst to get to a point. Like, if you want to get a hobby, sometimes you have to, start an activity to get that. Or if you want the motivation to watch that thing you want to watch, because unless you're burned out, you have to find that hobby. Like, it's a cycle. You can't just will yourself to do something. Sometimes you have to find a reason.
Max,
To find the mental clarity.
work-life balance.
Haven't found it. But I work out because I like lifting heavy things and it makes me feel something.
I lift things up and put them down.
He does lift heavy things. It's actually it's hilarious. It is hilarious. That was something. Honestly, I would have enjoyed that workout. Had me feeling some type of way for like the next week, and I realized I should not have done back-to-back practices before working out. I should have done one or the other because oh my god,
Max is strong.
he is strong. Damn,
Made me feel something.
it made me feel something. Regret, pain.
But no, I had to do it because there's a lot of things I wasn't happy with. So I had to have something in my control. So I just had to figure something out.
Y'all didn't see.
fair.
Now at this process, I'm starting this process where I'm starting to figure out how to create a nice work-life balance. Because the way that I am, I go hard for the things that I want.
Yeah, y'all didn't see this man in the gym. He was like,
no
pain. Contemplate pain. Understand pain.
I am pain.
For those who do not know pain can
I have the power!
Shinra Tensei. So it was awful. I'm just sitting there watching it. I'm like, and then this motherfucker kept talking about lifting the boat. What boat? Carry the motherfucking boat. What boat?
Whose man's
Boat's
is
the
this?
fucking log. Where are we going? Stay hard.
Give me Baby Yoda
And to finish this off, Alex,
Shalom.
work-life balance for you.
This is my work-life balance. Take it back.
Speak
Okay,
your truth.
so work-life balance.
Hurry up. Speak your truth.
You hush. Yeah. No.
I wish you.
But work-life balance. I mean, so once I'm done with work, so depending on the day, I'll go to the gym or I'll go swim. I love sitting in the water. It's very soothing for me. It's very calming for me. It's very relaxing. It helps me reset. Like I enjoy being in the water. If I'm not doing that, I will, I like to play video games. That literally gets me away. I like playing Call of Duty with my friends from college. Like it's a tradition. Like we do it routinely almost every weekend now. Shout out to my boys. Y'all know who you are. And then, if I don't do that, I'll play my bass guitar. I'll play my bass guitar. I'll just strum along. Play a few notes.
You don't know me, son.
And I have multiple activities of stuff that I could do to make life fulfilling outside of the job. And I think that that's something that we're also recognizing as a generation is that it's not work till you die. It's live, then die. You live your life. You fulfill your life with things that are not just.
I'm still gonna die.
Oh, you gonna die, but
I feel like
Live, then you
that
die.
was supposed to be
Live.
way more profound than live,
live,
and then
Live,
die.
then you
live, then you can die.
Basically,
It was profound. It was
Basically, you work to get the bread to do the fun stuff, living like trips and shit like
Trips and you create memories.
You are
Great
alive
things.
until one day you are not.
Okay,
that. Make money to make memories.
and then unalive yourself.
trigger warning.
Okay, bye guys.
Oh, don't cover Baby Yoda's ears.
Be ashamed of yourself.
This episode is eternal. Just end it.
We are eternals. We are immortals. The rest of you.
They don't know me, son.
You will die.
Okay, it's time for us to eat now. That's why we're delirious. Okay.
Yo,
They don't know me, son.
create some work-life balance for yourself. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah.
Do things that are fulfilling for your life. Do things that
Do martial arts.
outside of work. Hush. Do things that don't. No.
They don't know me, son.
No, take your mic away. You're.
They don't know me, son.
5.
Beat you up like I'm. I don't know what's going on.
Beat me up like you're 5? What?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know where that was going. I don't know where that was going. Hey, I had a strong right hook when I was 5 years old. All right?
That's cute. Anyways, so do stuff that are fulfilling and just, make life worthwhile. And don't rely on the work or the C-suite level people. Don't rely on them to make your life fulfilling. Do whatever you want to do that makes life worthwhile. Now, still, get your money up. Like Max always says,
Funny up.
get your money up, not your funny up. Or be funny. Either way, that makes money
Get your
too,
funny up too.
if you're funny.
Yeah.
But
Do not sacrifice your funny.
still, life is more than just clocking in and clocking out.
They don't know me, son.
Like real shit. If there's anything you could take from us, life is worth more than clocking in and clocking out.
Facts.
Like that. If anything else doesn't like, oh my gosh,
They don't know me, son.
like, why you keep saying that?
All right. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Four Square Podcast. As always, it's your boy Jeff.
It's your boy Alex.
You already know who I am.
They don't know me, son.
That's Lucas. That's Max. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to everything that we got going
Share
on.
with your sneaky links
Share
and
with your sneaky
entanglements.
links.
Actually, can we address that? Like, if y'all still have sneaky links, can y'all just do better? Like, please go find love. You deserve
Don't
love.
listen to him. Have your sneaky links if
Deserve
you want to.
love. Okay.
Be a hoe.
Sneaky links if you want to.
Like, go. It's okay to have some, but like, just go.
Max
you
is in the
deserve
camera.
to be
and
loved.
I don't think it matters anymore. Max's face is in the camera.
Let me guess, Max. They don't know you.
They don't know me, son.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Jesus.
We did not know how to end that episode. I was like, bro.
So what the fuck is going on? I'm hungry. Go to a close. We're going to.
You said what's up to the camera? Stay undercover. Stay undercover, I'm stealth. My whole life I kept on waiting for shit. Had to learn to go get it myself. Yeah, I'll get this shit by myself. Yeah, I'll make a way for myself. Yeah, I see you got a new dude and that's cool, but I promise we fuck I won't tell. Yeah, know that you miss it, I tell. Because you still hit up my cell. So just let us out of ourselves. Cause I think I'm losing brain cells. Cause you're toxic, so toxic, still want you myself. Wanted that girl for some years now. Now she unbuckled my belt. And see that she like how I felt. I'm on a mission, no I cannot fail. Killer but not Freddy Krueger. That means I kill something else. Different is how I maneuver. I am like nobody else. A loner, so do not look for me. Cause I gotta look for myself. I do what I did this shit for me. I don't live for nobody. stay, stay undercover, stay under.